So everyone, this is Nucci. Now, Nucci is the queen of our poke bowls. And so she's going to be keeping an eye on me to make sure that I talk you through how to do it correctly, okay? Now, we sent through a recipe sheet for this time round. Did you all get that?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay. Well, if you contact us via the club via admin, we can get that flicked out to you, or have a pen and paper with you, and we'll talk it through slowly. Okay. So what we might do is we might get started. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. Well done, Nutch. So that's the recipe there. But as I said, so we can send that out to you. If not, have a pen and paper and write it down as we go. But we will be going through the motions now. So without much further ado, we shall start. Nucci? Yes, we shall. So what we're going to do is poke bowls are really quite an easy thing to do, and they're very versatile because they sit around what you like to eat, which is wonderful. The kind of the main construction of it, if you like, is a base, which is 9 times out of 10 rice. Here at the club, we started off using sushi rice, but we moved to the whole grain rice, or the brown rice, because it's got a nicer, can you see that? Yeah, it's got a nicer kind of nuttier flavour. So how we cook that, we use an absorption method, and we've got 1 part rice and literally 2 parts water. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll stick that on the stove, and we'll cook that for about 20 minutes, 25, half an hour. Okay, so we cook that for really slowly on absorption method. And what I mean by absorption method is literally I'll put that on the stove and I'll turn the gas right down to low. Really, 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 really low. So it's just flipping, and I'll put a lid on it and I'll just let that cook for about 20 minutes, half an hour sort of thing. And then once it's cooked, I'll take the lid off and I'll put a tea towel on it, which helps to absorb the moisture that the rice is giving off. And I'll just let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes. From there, what happens? Have you got your cooked rice? Okay, so we've just cooked this rice here. So this turns into this. And literally what we do from there, show that, put some mirror on. So we'll start to flavour the rice now. So we've got no salt in the cooking process. But we add it. So we're going to add mirin. And it's literally, we just sprinkle it over. Can you actually all see that?
Yeah.
We're a bit too far away. Yeah, okay, right. So
Jake, I missed the first minute. What are you actually cooking?
Poke bowls.
Thank
you. Sorry. So we're building a poke bowl. We're actually cooking the rice for the poke bowl. So just to bring you up to speed, it was 1 part rice, 2 parts water, and we simmer it very gently for half an hour.
Thank you.
So we've taken it off. We've let it cool down slightly. We've added mirin, and we're adding rice wine vinegar. And this will be literally to taste. Okay? So just let that absorb, maybe fork it around a little bit so that it's just distributed evenly. And that's pretty much your rice done. Okay? And that will last at least 4 days in a fridge. Nice and cool. Okay? So from here, any questions on the rice so far at all? All fairly well told? Good. Okay, so what we'll do, push that to one side, and we'll start making one of the other elements. I've talked about 3 main elements of poke bowls. You've got the base, which we're doing is the rice. You've got your protein, and then you've got your vegetables, and then which I'm kind of clumping into one, and then you've got your dressing. Okay, so with the protein, we're going to actually what we're going to do is we're going to put the sauces first. We'll make the base sauce that we use at the club, and this is the one that we use at the club. And then from there, we'll start to play and make a few different poke bowls, just to give you an idea of how you can do this differently. So Nooch you can start off with. So what I'm going to do, Nooch might make it on a bit larger scale, but we'll start off with 1.5 tablespoons of light soy sauce. So that's the, we're using the Kickerman brand, but that's completely up to you. Then from there, we're going to move on to, then we're going to move on to a dark soy sauce. That's kind of, if you understand that, but that's, we've got a mushroom one there. So it's a mushroom-based dark soy sauce. But that's because we had that. If you've just got a straight dark soy sauce, which is a little bit thicker and a little bit richer in flavour, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of that in, okay? So we've had 1.5 of light soy, 2 of dark soy. From here, we're going to put in some sesame seed oil. We said toasted sesame seed oil. Use whatever oil you've got. The toasted one will just give a more pronounced, richer sesame flavour. And I'm just going to put 2.5 in of that. And again, if recipes are to give you guidelines, they're not to be followed strictly. So if you can yeah. So you can play around. If you don't like it, like what you just said, change it around, do something different.
If you don't like sesame oil.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it out. Perfect. I'm going to put mirin in.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to put some mirin in. 2 tablespoons of mirin.
What is mirin?
Say it again, sorry.
What is mirin?
Mirin is a kind of a sweet Chinese, Japanese cooking wine.
Oh, okay.
That's the brand that we use. You see, it's M-I-R-I-N, and it's a sweet cooking wine. Okay. A lot of these products you're going to find you probably find mirin in Coles and Safeways. A really good place to go, possibly not at the moment, is the Fuji Mart, which is located in Niparan markets. So when that's all clean to rock and roll again, Fuji Mart, which is just near Aldi, is a superb place to get all of this sort of stuff from. I digress. Nooch, let's put some white wine vinegar in. About 2 tablespoons. The brands that we're using here, do you like these ones? Or do you use different ones? Okay. That's not bad. These ones are good, I've been told. Then we've got some chili paste. When we use...
You're not doing it.
No, if you don't like what
Correct. So if you don't like it, a spicy sauce, and I've got to tell you, Nooch can eat some of the hottest food on the planet. She is incredible. And then some grated ginger. So put whatever volume of chili paste you want in it. If you don't like chili, leave it out. If you like it, whack it in. And then some grated ginger. And that's pretty much the sauce. And that will last indefinitely in your fridge. Okay, just keep a lid on it, shake it around when you need to use it again. And that's pretty much the poke bowl sauce that we use at the club. We don't necessarily put as much chili sauce as Nooch has just put in here. She's eyeing this demonstration up for her lunch. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So, any questions on the dressing at all? Seeing shakes of the head, all confident, all good. If you need to, we'll open up the chat a bit later on and we can take it from there anyway. Okay? So, now's the fun part. And literally, it's just a case of deciding what you want to eat. So the proteins that we've got some salmon fillet. We've got some prawns that we cooked earlier, or you can buy them from the supermarket, just chopped up, ready to rock and roll. Make sure you just take the vein out first. If you want to feel a bit more extravagant, we've got some picked crab here. And what we've done with this one is you can either serve the picked crab raw or raw, undressed, or you can serve it with, like we're doing, we've got a chili mayonnaise with this, or say maybe a Kewpie mayonnaise, which is the Japanese one. all good. For people who don't like fish, we've got chicken, as you can see in this bowl here. Joking. And if you want to go vegan, of course, we've got some tofu. Now we've gone for the hard tofu, not the silken tofu, because it's a bit easier to cut up. So from here, look, what are we doing? This is where Nooch comes into it all. What are we doing? Which one do you want to make? The vegetarian. Good way to go. Okay. Which is your preferred bowl? Right. Okay. So literally, what I should say as well. You start making stuff, and I'll talk through some of the ingredients. So we've got a lot of other ingredients here. So some of the vegetables that we've used, we've got shredded carrot, which we've actually pickled. So with this bit, when I say we pickled it, all we did was get some of, where's that white wine vinegar? Some of this white wine vinegar and sugar, and it's literally so that it doesn't taste acidic. You know, that's the volume of sugar you put in. So if it's sweet and sour, which is the classic combo, that's where you want it to be. And we bring that to a boil, chuck the carrots in it, and take it off the heat. And that's how you pickle the carrots for this dish. Okay, so they're just slightly sweet and sour. So our old friends from Fujimart, what we've done, we bought some edamame beans. Now, edamame beans kind of look like wonky peas, all right, or a cross between peas and broad beans, and they got a really nice, sweet, nutty flavour.
Can you use defrosted ones for that?
That's what we use. Yeah, it's very hard to find fresh edamames. We use frozen ones.
Okay.
The tip you want to look for though is try to find the shelled ones, because they'll sell them in either the pods or they'll sell them as the beans themselves. So we look for the ones for the beans ourselves.
Okay.
And all this stuff, as I said, it's not a free plug for Fujimart, but we get all this stuff from Fujimart. We've got the Japanese seaweed salad. Okay, and there's various types of these. We use the light green one. It's got some funky name that I don't know how to pronounce. We've also got, and I suppose it's a question of going down to Fujimart or Coles or wherever you want to go and look for the pickles that you think could be interesting. And yeah, you only find out by being adventurous and having a play. Nooch brought in these beautiful burgundy pickled radish. Let's see if you can see that. So that looks fantastic. And then they're slightly salty, which is a really interesting and different combination. And then we've got the pickled daikon radish. And again, if you could go, we buy this pickled and like this, or you can go down to the markets or the shops. Sometimes you'll see some fresh daikon, and you can do it yourself, much like the carrots that we did. You can slice them up, or you can put them through a mandolin like Nooch is doing now, with some fresh radish, and you can use up the daikon there. But there's a lot of daikon for a couple of dishes. So Nooch has made. Okay, so Nooch has got this incredible little gadget where she can deliver a lot of sesame seeds at will.
Just like a pack of peppermint.
That's it, yes, just like a peppermint. What else are you putting on?
I just put my dressing in the bottle, so it's easier for me.
That looks fantastic. Okay, so this one is to start us all off. Now, I learned to do this last week. What I'm going to try and do is show you the actual dish itself. So this is where are we? This is the vegan version. Okay, so you can see that we've got tofu in the middle, and then avocado, the pickled vegetables. She's got some peeled cucumber, just to give a little bit of variety. So there's sweet, sour, salty, natural, and then the soy dressing to bring it all together. So that's actually a vegan version, yeah? Yes, that's a vegan version. However, it's not gluten free, because of some of the soy sauces. Let's just get the face back into the mix of things. Some of the soy sauces do contain a little bit of flour, so it's not gluten free. It's just kind of a bit wobbly gluten free. Okay, but we're not allowed to say it's gluten free because of the flour content in the soy, or the wheat in the soy. So from here, what we're going to do. Which one are you going to do now? Okay, so the prawn one. So one of the good things, what we've done at work, we've done two different poke bowls. We've done a straight tuna one, and we've done a salmon one. But what you can do is you can, if you've got some, let's say, what have we got here? We've got crab and we've got prawn. You could mix them together and put them on the same poke bowl. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. So you can start mixing your proteins. It doesn't have to be a single protein. It can be whatever proteins you want. And again, what Nuch is demonstrating here, different plates, different vegetables. So it really is what you would like to eat. One of the dishes that we also have, sorry, we've got people in the background cooking as well. Hopefully getting ready for Wednesday, but we'll have to wait and see. So this one here is, what did you say this one was going to be?
The prawn, you can mix the crab as well.
Okay, so this is the prawn and crab one. See, I think Nucci likes that. Normally she tells me off when I come up with ideas, especially around her poke bowl. So I've got one up at last.
I'm kind of up with this one.
That's okay. That's that. And then what we're going to do from here, so again, the crab, we just mixed that with a little bit of mayonnaise, which we've actually used as the chipotle mayonnaise that we use for the, a lot of you will have had the chips at the club, or the fries, the dipping sauce, we get tomato sauce and chipotle. The chipotle is the one that we're using because I think it's quite nice. And of course, chipotle being extremely Hawaiian or Japanese, not, is what we use, which is good. Okay, so what is it here? Oh, we've got some radish, very nice. You like radish?
I love radish.
And what's this I see you put out here?
Just some pretty flowers.
Okay, so what's the beautiful little violas, are they? Violas, yes they are. Okay, so this is where Nuke brings her creativity out.
And I love sesame.
And sesame as well. Okay. So that one done?
Last,
Ah, yes.
the important thing.
Sauce to make it taste nice. Myself. It tastes nice already. Okay, so what we've got here. So this one is and we'll do the old jiggery pokery again. This one is where are we? Okay, so that's the seafood one, if you like. So we've got prawns, avocado, some edamame beans on this one. And as Nook said, the violas there, or a little bit of garden flower, just for pretty. Not a lot of distinct flavours in flowers, but it does give a certain, if you're trying to be a bit posher, it gives a bit of fun to the plate.
Mm.
Okay. And then the last one, so we're going to get, so Nooch wants to get Chefy on you now. And what she's going to do, you want to cut salmon?
Yes, please.
So we've got some fresh salmon in today. So literally, with all fish, let alone raw fish, you want to try and get the freshest that you most possibly can. That you can't get fresh salmon. You can always use tin salmon or tin tuna. There's actually nothing wrong with that. And we just slice this up. So, and then she's making the base again. So she's using avocado, cucumber, the sushi, the rice, sorry. I suppose it's very similar, isn't it, to nori rolls. Anything you can think of by the sushi and sashimi, nori rolls, we used in this bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing at the club currently at the moment, so I've just diced up the salmon. So this is spanking new fresh salmon. We've got it this morning, which is fabulous. And it can be used exactly like that. But what we're doing at the club at the moment is we're just putting a little bit of soy on the fish first. Then what you need to do is nip out to your garage and get a blowtorch. If you want, just another little bit of fun. And then we literally just kind of scorch the salmon just to give it a bit of caramelization. And that's literally all you do. Making sure that you turn the blowtorch off. And what you've got there, see if I can get that in. There we are. So just it's literally scorched, and it's still quite raw. But you know, you turn it over, and you can see it's quite raw on the other side. So that's just a technique of giving a bit more of caramelizing the soy without making it burny and yucky. Okay. That's that.
Just a question.
All right.
Hi. I missed the very start. What sort of rice do you use?
Well, we use at the club, we use the brown rice.
Brown.
But you could use sushi rice is another good one. Any rice you want is fine. And you know, just follow the cooking instructions on the back of the packet. The brown rice, like I said earlier, we use the absorption method, and we cook it for about half an hour. So what I mean by the absorption method is 1 part rice, 2 parts water, put it on a very, very low heat on the stove, and then just put a lid on it, simmer it very, 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 very slowly until all the rice has absorbed the water. We then, what do we do then? We put a tea towel on to absorb all the steam that the rice is giving off so it doesn't become wet and claggy. We then put it into a tray. We put mirin on it, and we put rice wine vinegar on it to taste, really. You know, I could give you measurements, but it all depends on, you know, the quality of your mirin, your rice wine vinegar, blah, 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 blah. But do it to taste. You know, you know, a lot of cooking is common sense. You know, there's a lot of chefs on telly who'll make it look really hard and difficult, and the science, it's not. It's just common sense. Does it taste nice? Yes. Eat it. Pretty much. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so what Mitch has done this time, which one's this? This is the salmon one. So the salmon one here, let's see if we can get a good shot of that one again. So again, what Nutch is doing, it's the same kind of base, but she's just having fun with the presentation and the styling. Where are we? Is that it? Can't really see what I'm doing here now. Let's do this. There you go. So that's the salmon one. And on top of this, she's obviously put some nori on it. So that's nori sheets. And what she's done there is she's sliced them up really finely, or used scissors to snip it. And then the usual suspects of the pickled vegetables. We're big fans of avocado here, which you can see this side, the avocado, the edamame beans, the sesame seeds, it's all. And then the last one we're going to do for you, I'll stand nice and clean as well. The last ones we're going to do for you, let's just get this back so you can see what she's up to, is the chicken one. So again, it doesn't have to be seafood, it can be meat as well. I was thinking about variations that you could do. One of the ones I was thinking was, you know, I haven't seen, would be really, really very finely sliced beef fillet. So it's like, you know, if you think of the Japanese tatakis, which is the very fine sliced almost, you know, if you're going Italian, you call it carpaccio. So, you know, that could work, but that I really recommend to have sauce as well. And then the final addition that we've got going here, another little one that we use, a bit of fun, is the wasabi peas. So again, this is a product that you just buy from Fujima. And they're dried kind of peas. I think mine chickpeas, I'm not sure. But they're dried peas. They look a very unnatural green, but they're a bit spicy, bit fun. Good for a snack in the afternoon as well. So this is the final poke bowl that Nuch is making. Oh, that looks better. And that's the chicken one. So we've got the chicken just hiding underneath there. So I suppose what we're trying to tell you with the poke bowls is they're extremely versatile. They're a fantastic fridge cleaner. If you've got your baked rice, you've got your dressing. If you haven't got cucumbers, but if you've got capsicum or you've got peas in the freezer, use what you have. Don't be afraid of mucking around or having a play with anything. So there's the four there. So do you have any questions at all, guys?